месть на мне, и я отомщу.
Modern Warfare 2 came out on November 10th, 2009. That is over 10 years ago and is still considered by many as one of the best video games of all time. But before we go any further, let that sink in. This game is 10 years old. That's older than some of the people that play Call of Duty today. And with the recent release of the new Modern Warfare, I thought it would be interesting to go back and take a look at the last time Infinity Ward made a Modern Warfare game, that being Modern Warfare 3. But before we can do that, we must first take a look at our sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Just kidding. You see what I did there? I did it, guys. I did the funnies. May I please be accepted into society now? Anyways, before we can talk about Modern Warfare 3, and moreover the game's launch, we must first look at the game's predecessor and see what led up to one of the most controversial game launches of all time. Modern Warfare 2 was a direct sequel of Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, which came out in 2007. Modern Warfare stood out from the previous entries as the first Call of Duty to step out of World War II and try a different era, and is considered by many fans as the first real Call of Duty. To keep a long story short, people loved it. It seemingly was the perfect first-person shooter, and was the start of the golden era of COD. Just looking at the numbers, sales were pretty decent before COD 4, but afterwards they skyrocketed, and nowadays you can't even escape a best-selling game article without the newest COD on it. Also, as a side note, I know this isn't a review of MW2. Watch the Ackman's video on that if you're interested in that sort of thing.
We've taken the lead.
They'll consider making a video on the masterpiece if you guys would want that. Wow, I'm really getting sidetracked on a side note. But as I was saying earlier, I know this isn't a review of MW2, but can we talk about that soundtrack? It is debatably one of the best video game soundtracks ever produced, and is what you've been hearing in the background of this video.
Praise the Lord. Go ahead.
It was Hans Zimmer's first time making music for a video game, and he hit it out of the ballpark. Anyways, if you were around in 2009, you could not escape Modern Warfare 2. If you were a gamer back then, you will probably either be playing that or the Beatles rock band. Before this video turns into an MW2 review again, let's just say that this game was beloved by many, which is why when Modern Warfare 3 was announced, a few people were excited.
Modern Warfare 3, I think this game is for me. I can't wait for release, wait for release. Only then we will see, only then we will see.
When Modern Warfare 3 finally came out, the game shattered records with its sales, and on the surface, everything seemed perfect. But when you look a little further and...
MW3 is absolutely rubbish.
You hated that game, and I really do. I really hate that game.
About to show you why this multiplayer sucks balls.
Like, sometimes I'll go play Modern Warfare 3, and it's such a bad game.
Come on. This is ridiculous.
Today I'm looking at the top 5 reasons Modern Warfare 3 sucks.
It sucks so bad.
10 reasons why Modern Warfare 3 sucks.
Game sucks.
This video is going to be a little bit about why Modern Warfare 3 can blow me. Yes, Modern Warfare 3 sucks the big ball sack.
This is the crap you put out, honestly. I mean...
I hate this game! I freaking hate it!
This game fucking is shit house. This game sucks my ass. Better than my sister does, which is saying something damn important, motherfucker.
And I hate it so much! I hate it! I hate it so much!
If you ask any avid fan of the franchise, they'd probably tell you that MW3 was the first of many shit Call of Duties, excluding Black Ops 2. But what happened that made Modern Warfare 3 the most overhyped games of all time and began to start the downward spiral of never-ending garbage the franchise is known for today? Before continuing on with the video, I'd like to clarify that the opinions of the community about this game don't represent mine at all, though I do agree with a few of their critiques. Personally, I really enjoyed Modern Warfare 3 for many reasons, including the story of the campaign, weapon diversity, general balancing, and tuning from MW2.
This is the most balanced multiplayer experience we have ever done. It means no one-man army, no game-ending nuke, no shotguns as secondaries, definitely no commando perk. No last stand. You last stand. You last stand. You last
stand. The introduction of the face-off playlist, the community playlist, especially Infected, the private match customization, the soundtrack, weapon rank, and proficiencies.
We've basically given every weapon an experience bar. So now you're leveling your weapons as well as your players. It's a new thing that we've added called weapon proficiencies. Weapon proficiencies are enhancements to your weapon that are geared towards a certain playstyle.
If you want less sway, you can earn it. You want 2 attachments, you can earn it. You want less kick, go earn it.
How your player card showed your levels from the older Call of Duties as well. The strike package score streak system.
We've taken your feedback and completely revamped the kill streak system into what we're calling strike packages. It became very clear that the kill streak system was optimized for only one game type, and that was team deathmatch. It's not just about kills anymore. You get points for objectives, you get points for every 2 assists with Hardline Pro, all leading up to your next point streak reward, which you can now customize in one of 3 strike packages to match your play style. So assault, support, and specialists.
For those of you who loved big body counts in Modern Warfare 2, the Assault Strike package is still for you. This is the familiar kill streak system that you know and love, but with more player-driven kill streaks. Our Sport Strike package works differently. This kill streak rewards players for helping the team win. Your kill streak does not reset when you die.
The third and final option is the Specialist Strike package. So here your point streak rewards actually come in the form of perks. So right now, your maximum number of perks is 3. After your 8th kill, you actually unlock and activate every perk available. If you die, your kill streak resets and you're starting all over again.
And last but not least, survival mode.
Attack dogs outfitted with explosives are in your vicinity. Recommend you keep your distance. Over.
In my unpopular opinion, the game is definitely one of my favorites in the entire series, and all the studios that worked on it didn't get enough credit for their work. God damn, that was a long intro. Anyways, I'll be dividing this part of the video into 2 sections. The rough development process of the game that led to the hated game, and the community's thoughts on why the game sucked. Wow, I really said game a lot there. Many things changed behind the scenes during the development of Modern Warfare 3. To give more context about how the COD games were developed at the time, here is how it worked. The games were developed in a 2-year cycle between Trail and Infinity Ward, and a game is released every year, which gave the developers 2 years at the time to work on a game. Modern Warfare 2 was released by Infinity Ward in 2009, Black Ops released by Treyarch in 2010, and MW3 obviously released in 2011. Modern Warfare 3 behind the scenes should have just developed like all the other CODs at the time, but the game's development would be the furthest it had ever been from this. In early 2010, Vince Zampella and Jason West, co-founders of Infinity Ward, were fired by Activision, Infinity Ward's publisher and parent company. The details from here are pretty messy, not very public, but apparently when this happened, the duo sued Activision on accounts of employee mistreatment and were allegedly unpaid their bonus payments. They were then countersued by Activision on accounts of corporate espionage, theft of business secrets, breaches of contract, and insubordination. Publicly, we don't know much about what happened from here, but what we do know is that the duo founded Respawn Games, taking about half of Infinity Ward's team with them to go on and create the Titanfall franchise and some BR no one ever really played, called Apex Legends. And just like that, for the first time ever, Call of Duty was in a state of vulnerability. Call of Duty will always sell an ass-touch copies, but this was the first time that there was ever a major developmental issue. Things were not all sunshine and rainbows. The franchise was left without the co-founders and half of the employees of the studio that brought what is generally considered the best COD ever made. This is when the COD name began to deteriorate. This is also when attitudes towards the franchise began to shift, and franchise fatigue began to set in, which we'll cover in full detail shortly. To save the next title, Raven Software, who had helped with Treyarch's Call of Duty Black Ops, and Sledgehammer Games, who were working on their own Call of Duty, which has since been cancelled, worked alongside Infinity Ward in the creation of Modern Warfare 3. However, that's not all. Treyarch was another big asset to the project, helping out with the MP, designing weapon artworks, developing some of survival mode, and even doing some work on the forgotten Wii version of the game. Don't forget, Neversoft is also in the picture, assisting Infinity Ward in developing the campaign and Chaos mode for Spec Ops. With 5 separate studios working on the same project, each with their own envisioning of what the game would be, communication was limited and the end product was hurt because of it. Alright, now it's time to talk about what you came here for. You clicked on this video wondering why this game got so much hate, why it was so overhyped, and I'm here to tell you why. Okay, well, there are a lot of factors to take into consideration. The first and most important being that we must acknowledge how cancerous the Call of Duty community has become. I'm sorry, but it had to be said. The COD community is toxic.
Whoa, that's a genuinely shocking fact.
Toxic beyond belief. Sure, sometimes the criticism is justified, but COD players will always find something to complain about. They say that they want change, but then cry that the new systems are too different and not as good as the way the older CODs did it. They say they want it to be like the older CODs, but then say the game is boring and lacks innovation. Modern Warfare 3 delivered on the fan service. The developers listened hard to the community and did their best, and it shows. Do you not remember all the features from MW2 that Robert Bowling stated would not return during COD XP 2011? For all the developmental struggles, this game should have been the worst in the franchise, but it isn't. Yet why does it get so much hate?
Why am I still getting hate?
COD players just don't know what they want anymore. They simply cannot be satisfied. Another factor to take into consideration is Reddit sheep herd mentality. People like hating on something just because everyone else does, and it makes them feel like a part of something. For example, take Comic Sans or Pineapple on Pizza. Sure, these may not be the best font or the best topic in the world, but they have their places in society, and the hate is just not justified. If you're one of these people, come on, grow up. I'm sorry, but is your need for validation in society so strong that you can no longer come up with your own opinions? Yikes. Sorry for that side tangent. I got a bit heated there, but another factor to take into consideration is how much of an identity this game seriously lacked.
Identity theft is not a joke.
MW3.
Millions of families suffer every year.
I have a personality. I watch The Office. It's okay. I have a social life.
Take the CODs before MW3, for example. Black Ops was set in the Cold War / Vietnam era.
Nah, baby.
locations, maps, guns, etc. to match that. They had top secret black operations, wager matches, custom emblems, gun game.
Let's do this.
An amazing evolution from zombies from World at War, Dead Ops Arcade. Before that, MW2, as the Actman put it lightly.
It's COD 4 on a week-long cocaine binge.
Things went crazy with an amazingly over-the-top, Michael Bay-esque modern-day campaign. The multiplayer saw insanely overpowered weapons and kill streaks, the streaks being some of the most lustful power fantasies a piece of media can offer, and even an all-new third PvE mode to play with a buddy, Spec Ops. Before that, to sum it up in a few words, COD World at War was a return to the World War II era, using the design philosophies and revolutions from COD 4, along with its own revolution, Nazi zombies. As you can see, all of these CODs I just listed had an identity, and you could pretty easily tell them apart. Modern Warfare 3 was different, however. Although it was obvious for Infinity Ward to follow up MW2's campaign's cliffhanger ending with MW3, it just seemed like a cash grab, or cash cow if you will, and Activision was just milking the COD franchise dry. If you put the games next to each other, unless you have played both extensively, they look virtually the same other than minor changes in HUD, etc.
Modern Warfare 3's biggest flaw is familiarity. The similarities are apparent from the second you start this game. Huh, this main menu is kind of familiar. Well, let's check out Spec Ops. Wait, it's like virtually the same layout. Why is it? No, that's cool, that's cool. I'm sure multiplayer will be different. Well, this is disappointing. There's gotta be something in this game that looks different from Modern Warfare 2, right? Right? You gotta be kidding me. It's all the same. It's all the same. Every last menu and sub-menu. This is what killed me though. The reload animations. There is no excuse to rip these straight from Modern Warfare 2. I just want to see things changed slightly, visually.
To quote the COD community in 2011, this is Modern Warfare 2.5. This is a $60 update to the game that I've been playing for the past 2 years. Oh, hey Billy, wanna go play some Battlefield 3? The studios just couldn't trick their audience into believing that they were seeing something different. As they say, to catch lightning in a bottle once is a miracle, but to catch it twice, nearly impossible. People's anticipation and expectations were simply too high. But that's not all. There are more factors to analyze. This is when franchise fatigue began to set in. This is when people started to get sick and tired of seeing a new COD year after year. This is also when people started to get so unjustifiably bitter over the franchise, and when it became cool to hate on COD. That being said, Modern Warfare 3 was not without its flaws. The campaign was pretty mediocre.
अपना मुंह बंद रखो तुम घटिया बिगुल बजाने वाले चपड़ गज्जू घटिया
being entirely story-focused with basic gameplay and AI that didn't add much replay value. Modern Warfare 3's maps, while amazing, weren't like its predecessor where almost every map was a home run. However, compared to some of the stuff we get today, I find it very hard to complain about Modern Warfare 3's map selection. Also, the Spec Ops and Survival mode, while a great stepping stone, really needed further expansion and utilization of the rest of the sandbox if it wanted a chance to compete with Treyarch's highly addictive Zombies mode. Modern Warfare 3 is still one of the most hated COD games of all time, with crazy high expectations, a rocky development being an understatement, a lack of identity, and a toxic community. It's a bit easier to see why this game was so hated. Does this completely justify all the hate that it got? All in all, it was a pretty fun, entertaining, and fulfilling package, and if you still have your disc lying around, I'd highly recommend playing it while it has some active players.
Get new maps and more first on Xbox Live.
And that is why Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 was so hated and overhyped. But what did you think? Were you a Modern Warfare 3 hater back in the day? What about now? Does the multiplayer deserve a remaster? I sure think so. Did I miss any important info in this video? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Trust me, I'll read them all. Also, though it may not seem like it, I've sunk hundreds of hours into this video between researching, writing the script, recording lines, editing, etc., etc. So if you enjoyed this video, a like would mean a lot to me. I plan to post more videos like this one on the channel when my sleep schedule allows it. So if you'd be interested in more videos like this, consider subscribing. Anyways, this has been AK, and until I come up with a better outro slogan, peace!
That's how it's done. Nice job, Rangers.